If you want any notion as to the absolute state of the so-called Halo community, look no further than this news here. Legendary composer of the original Halo titles, Marty O'Donnell, was disinvited from a 25-year reunion because he is not a shitlib. That right there is why we love to see the news that we're going to be talking about today. The failure of modern entertainment has become our new entertainment.
I do believe in you. I just know you're gonna fail.
What is up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the obviously awesome Dr. Disaster, and it is incredible how some people, and I use that term loosely with game journalists, but some people will stretch reality as far as they can in order to make a video game sound as though it is beloved by everyone. They will look at a game like Halo Campaign Evolved and say something like,
"This is the most important fucking thing to ever happen in the history of the world."
Case in point, take a look at this article from a few days back, which comes from the outlet Polygon, right when the news came out that Halo Studios was starting to lay people off in the wake of Campaign Evolved. They put this article out claiming that the game was a huge success. For cripe's sake, just look at how they start the article off here. They write,
Halo Studios, the developer behind the recent Halo Campaign Evolved release, which we consider to be one of the best remakes of all time, is laying off members of the team.
And yes, folks, after reading the article, it does appear as though the primary criteria for whether or not the game is a success, according to this article, is whether or not they liked it. And of course, they did like it, because it came from modern corporate AAA gaming.
You can kiss my ass!
Okie dokie then!
It is due to this level of dishonesty and this level of flat-out shilling in the industry, which makes it very enjoyable then when we see something like Halo Campaign Evolved fail. I mean, the game had a lot of reasons to be annoyed at it after all, and to not think of it as the greatest remake ever done. For example, there was simple stuff like what I'm about to show you in a clip from the game in this new and improved greatest remake ever. As you're about to see, they could not be bothered to create the animation where Master Chief hops from the driver's seat to the gun on the Warthog. Instead, he just teleports.
Marine IFF signals beyond that marker.
That is just one of a number of massive issues with the game, to say nothing of the theater kid millennial writing and the insufferable ugly girl boss marine in the new missions that were added to the game. Well, sales numbers have come out for this game now from Alinea Analytics, and while those numbers were higher than I expected, they are still a resounding defeat for Halo Studios. In fact, these sales numbers are not too far off from what we saw a few months ago with Marathon, the difference being that instead of Steam being the big platform for the game, it was actually the Xbox that had the most sales on it. In any event, we are going to take a look at these sales numbers in a minute here, and as we do, you can join me as my schadenfreude causes me to greedily drink up their failures.
We've got no money!
Alright, me hearties, make sure to smash the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it already. We just surpassed another subscriber milestone, so it is already time to ask the following question.
How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow? Yo!
We now have 213,000 space pirate a-holes in our Buccaneer crew, and as is the custom on the channel, with every 1,000 subscribers, I add a new ship to the fleet in order to house the newcomers. This time, one of you suggested that we go with the Shellcraft bioship from Stellaris. If anyone out there has recommendations for future ships to be added to the fleet, drop them into the comment section and I will add them to my long list. Super chats get bumped to the top of the list. Also, for your reference, I will drop an alphabetized list of the ships already in the fleet into the description of this video. In any case, I really appreciate you all being here, and I will do my best to keep earning your viewership.
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Alright, so let's have a look at these numbers here from Alinea Analytics. Now, as I said before, these figures are looking pretty similar to the sort of response that we got from Marathon. I guess when an old studio that used to be beloved, when they put out any old crap, you can expect a little over 1 million people to still gobble it up no matter what. I wonder how much overlap that there is between players of Marathon and Halo, now that I think about it, since both of these games were Bungie games actually originally. But anyhow, according to Alinea, after 2 weeks of being available on the market, Halo Campaign Evolved has sold 1.2 million copies, and they have made back an estimated $67 million on the game. Now keep in mind, and this is where Halo is quite different from Marathon, but keep in mind that the budget for Halo, when you account for marketing and everything else, is expected to be something in the ballpark of around $100 million. Over time, it is possible that this game will actually make back what they spent on it. Marathon, on the other hand, they sold around 1.5 million copies after about a month, and they have no chance of making back the nearly $300 million that is estimated to be the budget for that game. But you have to understand that these remakes, like Halo Campaign Evolved, they are supposed to be comparatively cheap ways to bring in a quick infusion of cash. Unless you completely screw it up, this is supposed to be easy money. It is possible that this game will be able to limp toward breaking even, since their budget was much smaller than your typical AAA game these days, but it will likely take a long-ass time for that to happen. As we all know, the bulk of a AAA game's sales figures typically come in the first week or so after the game releases, so sales are only going to slowly trickle in from this point onward. But there are a couple of pieces of information that are in this report from Alinea that I find interesting that we should touch on. First of all, if you look over on the right-hand side of the screen, they give you the breakdown of copies sold on each major platform. It surprised me to see that Xbox and PlayStation both hit a little over 40% of the total sales figures, while Steam accounts for only about 17%. Steam is a much larger platform with a much higher number of players, so I expected them to be at least as high as the consoles, if not higher, but I imagine that's where this number comes in. There were probably a number of people who saw the very low Steam score for this game and decided not to give it a chance. Also, obviously people on Xbox are going to have a lot more nostalgia for this game than people on other platforms, which I should have expected would drive sales. And then, of course, on PlayStation, there was the novelty of a Halo game just being on the PlayStation in the first place. It's worth noting that the little over 17% that Alinea is estimating for Steam, that amounts to a bit over 200,000 units sold, and that lines up perfectly with the data that we are seeing here from VG Insights, which has the game currently at about 226,000 copies sold on Steam. Now, one bit of context I should point out is this right here. These are the biggest remakes from this current platform gen according to Alinea Analytics. Resident Evil 4 sold almost 17 million copies, Ark Survival Ascended sold 7 million, The Last of Us Part 1 sold over 6 mil, Oblivion sold about 4.5 million, Dead Space sold over 4 million, Final Fantasy Rebirth sold over 4 million, and Silent Hill 2 sold over 3 million copies. Halo selling a bit over 1 million is not very good by comparison. But another thing worth pointing out from Alinea is that figure on the bottom left, where they talk about the number of people who played this game on Game Pass. Now, as you can imagine, the Halo shills are pointing at the 2.1 million players estimated on Game Pass, and they're acting like they won the freaking Super Bowl. They are behaving as if this is the same as sales, and as if this game has been exonerated, but obviously this is not the case. If anything, that number is much lower than I would have expected. After all, if you are already subscribed to Game Pass, then it costs nothing extra to play this game, and let's be real, the number of people who specifically signed up for Game Pass in order to play Halo will be fairly insignificant. This is the equivalent of a new show popping up on Netflix that you are only marginally interested in, and you watch it because you're bored or something, and because you already have the Netflix subscription. Very few people will have subbed to Game Pass in order to play this game. They just saw it on there and saw a chance to play for free. Did this cannibalize some number of sales? Oh, I'm sure it did, to some extent, but the Game Pass excuse has long stopped being effective. We have seen far too many games get released on that platform on day one while still selling multiple millions of copies. Too many times that's happened for me to buy this excuse. Oblivion, as an example, was on the platform last year on day one, and it sold a truckload of copies. At the end of the day, the most important number is in the middle on the left column, $67 million. They have made back less than what they spent on the game, and they will struggle to break even from the looks of things. This is a fitting fate for a studio determined to not take the easy layup and give players what they want. Anyhow, make sure to hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it already, and if you're already subscribed, make sure that you're still subscribed to the channel. Lots of people tell me all the time they've been unwillingly unsubscribed, and also don't forget to follow me over on X, where my handle is Dr. Disaster 1. But I'm going to leave it there. What do you make of these Halo numbers? Drop your thoughts on all this into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching me, Hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.